Autumn Black. I'm the host. What up, World family? This is Autumn Black. I am the host of the Queen X podcast and the owner of this here YouTube channel. This is going to be my review for the movie Queen and Slim. I just went to go see it yesterday with my mom, my sister, my grandma, and my great aunt. We had a little girls' date, and y'all know that I am a movie buff. I love movies. I'm a movie fanatic, but more than anything, I love blackness and I love black creativity. So this definitely was a must-see for me. So I want to come on and give you guys a little review. Some things that I noticed in the movie, some things that I loved, some things that I didn't love. So I'm going to break down and give you some details that I picked up on of some of my favorite characters in the movie. I'm going to talk about some of the symbolism that I found in the movie, and then I'm going to give you my 3 favorite quotes from the movie. So if you're interested in watching this review and seeing what I have to say about Queen and Slim, keep watching. So the female lead is referred to in the title as Queen, and one characteristic that I get from her that I feel like most represents black women is a feeling of desperation. And I don't mean that in a negative or positive way. I just mean that as a it is what it is type of way. Queen is desperate because she's desperate to live. She's desperate to feel love. She's desperate to be strong. She's desperate to be tough. She's desperate to be happy. She's desperate to not feel alone. She's desperate to feel encouraged and to do the encouraging. Like, she is a black woman living a desperate ass life in America, as we all are, because we know that we deserve these things, we want and we desire these things, but the society that we live in is just not built to give us and provide us those things with no questions asked. Slim, of course, the other main character in the movie, is, to me, I feel like he is very uncomfortable in the majority of this movie. I feel like he is not used to being in this type of environment, period. It appears that he comes from a very stable home with his mother and his father in the household. He appears to be very close to his father, which is not only the complete opposite of Queen, but almost unheard of in black households today, period. Slim is not comfortable with killing people. He's not comfortable with robbing people. He's not comfortable with running. After his initial interaction with the white police officer where he does shoot and kill him, his automatic reaction is to turn himself in. Turn himself in, let them know what happened. It's self-defense. Let's just take care of this, and because I'm an American with rights and, you know, I have the right to defend myself, and that's just the reality that he lives in his mind. Whereas Queen, being a black woman that works for the government in the judicial system, and coming off of a case where she feels like the state ultimately did her client incredibly dirty by putting him to death, she's like, you know, you're living in a fucking fairy tale. That's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen for you or for me. We have to run. Also in the gas station scene where she tells him to go in and basically rob the place for $40 worth of gas, he is incredibly uncomfortable. He doesn't know how to hold a gun, doesn't know how to shoot a gun, doesn't know how to be that aggressive black man that everybody in the world automatically assumes that every black man is. It's just not in his character, and she's asking him to do these things, and you can tell that he is uncomfortable the entire time. On the flip side of that, though, I also feel like Slim is very genuine with Queen. He lets her know what his upfront, like what his faults are, where he's messed up at, you know, where he's feeling not so good about himself. Like, he is very authentic and genuine, where she gives off that feeling of trying to prove something all the time to everyone, trying to prove to him, trying to prove to her uncle, trying to prove to the police. He gives off that energy of just genuine. Like, he admits that he's scared, that he's afraid, that this is out of character for him. He is not comfortable in this situation. You know, he allows himself to be a lot more open and genuine and vulnerable with her than I even expected, because we don't often see that from black men. And another pivotal character I think in the movie was Uncle Earl. Uncle Earl may have been my favorite character in the movie. I'm not for sure, it just depends on how I'm feeling, but Uncle Earl is Queen's uncle on her mother's side. He is a pimp. It's very apparent that he is a pimp, and that's what he does. It's his lifestyle choice. But he is, to me, your typical nigga. He is a man, a black man who is dealing with a lot of mental and emotional pain and anguish that is just going unchecked and unheard, and you know, he's dealing with it in the only way that he knows how. You can see the substance abuse that goes on, which turns into physical violent abuse in the house also. Uncle Earl has 2 sex workers that I can tell, that we can tell from the movie, that live in the house with him, and that is Goddess and Naomi. Goddess and Naomi have very different personality. Goddess, which is obviously his bottom bitch, if you ask me. Goddess is the one that when he is telling Queen, like, hell no, I'm not about to give you a car, my car, no car, Goddess is the one, you know, she kind of gives him a look. If she offers up a specific kind of car, she gives him a look, and he, you know, just listens to her and eventually does come up off the car. Whereas he does claim Naomi to be his moneymaker. Naomi is the one that brings in the most amount of money, but they offer 2 perspectives of women that are working as sex workers here in America. So I thought that was fantastic representation from the directors, from the casting, whoever did the casting, the producers, all of that. That was really great representation of what that kind of relationship can look like between a pimp and their sex workers. Let's get into the symbolism. This is going to be a large portion of this video, but the symbolism in this movie was absolutely incredible to me. It was very, very well thought out. This is me just going to the movie and watching it once. This is some of the symbolism that I caught on to. So I will definitely be going back to see this movie a second and a third time. When it comes out, I'll be buying it. I've been listening to the soundtrack nonstop. Like, if you can't tell that I love this movie, let me just tell you that I love this movie. First piece of symbolism that I caught on to was the fact that this was Queen and Slim's first date. So this being their first date, to me, that is a representation of black men and black women here in America. We are all strangers to one another, but there's a level of comfort amongst us. There is a certain kind of energy that we share whenever we run into each other at the gas station, at Walmart, at the grocery store, or the car wash, wherever it is that we are. There's a certain energy that we share amongst each other, and whether we are, no matter where we're at and what the situation is, when some shit goes down, we are going to be there for each other in the best that we can. They're strangers on their very first date. She even said later in the movie that she was not going to go on a second date with him. But despite her knowing that ahead of time, when they got pulled over and the interaction that they were having with the police, she was there for him. She was just, you know, trying to protect him the best way that she could. They were in this together no matter what. Second piece of symbolism that I noticed that was heavy in this movie is religion. There is a lot of religious perspective in this movie, and from the very beginning of the movie you see how it is outlined. From the very beginning you see the impact that that religion has had on the black community. Slim is very religious. He's very devout. He wears his cross. He prays before he eats dinner. He on the back of his car, his tag says "Trust God," whereas Queen lets it be known that she is an atheist. And there are some things that they argue about and they have differences on in the movie that can not only be just things that you can relate to their particular situation, but also to the different arguments amongst the Black community about religion and spirituality. So the third piece of symbolism that I noticed in Queen and Slim is their names. They're never, ever, 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 ever referred to as Queen and Slim in the movie. Nobody ever calls them that. They don't refer to each other as that or anything. Queen and Slim are very common nicknames for Black men and Black women in the community. A lot of women are called Queen, we call each other Queen. Black men call us Queen. Slim is a general, kind of like a term that a lot of Black men are referred to. This is a nickname that we amongst the Black community refer to each other. Not outsiders, not other races, not other cultures, but in the Black community, this is something that we do amongst each other. Also, their actual birth names are never revealed in the movie until they have been killed, and I think that this is symbolism, just stating that Queen and Slim can be anybody. Queen and Slim could be me and the Roz, it could be my sister, it could be my mother, it could be our neighbor and the person that she's going out on a date with. It can literally be any Black man and woman in America. And so by them not making them specific people until the end of the movie, it kind of allows for all of us to put ourselves as Queen and Slim. It allows for us to just look at them as holistically as Black men and women in the community and not these particular specific people. And I thought that was beautifully done. I also think that it rings true that nobody really pays attention and knows who you are and gives you your flowers and appreciates who you are until it's too late, until you're dead. And so I kind of want that to just kind of sit and marinate with us for a little bit, because we really need to do a better job of acknowledging people, their pain points, and giving them the flowers while they're still here. Okay, so I chose the number 4 piece of symbolism. He's actually a character, but I really chose him as a piece of symbolism just because the symbolism to his character is more significant to me than the actual character. So the number 4 piece of symbolism is the character Junior. Junior is the mechanic's son, and he is one of the protesters during the protest scene, and he's actually the protester that kills the Black police officer. I believe that Junior represents a very lost and powerful generation of people, which is our youth. Our youth are incredibly lost right now. They are scared for their lives, but they are also ready to risk it all and ready to die. What they lack is leadership. Our youth at this present moment don't have an actual leader for their revolution. They have a movement, they have passion, but there is no leader out there telling them how to use those skills. So I think that Junior had the right idea, he had the right drive, he had the right passion, but he didn't know how to use it properly. So he couldn't talk to his father about, I could tell that he couldn't really talk to his father about how he was feeling, because he was going to the protest for Queen and Slim, but you know, his dad let it be known he knew who they were, but he wasn't fooling with what they did. He didn't think it was right, he didn't condone it. And so, you know, him and his dad were on opposite ends of that. So at home, we're probably really not talking about this because you don't want me to be on their side, and you're probably not really listening to what I have to say. Also, the significance of Junior actually shooting and killing that Black police officer is, I feel like Junior's mind frame was like, you chose to be on that side. You are consciously aware that you and I are the same, but you chose to put that uniform on and to be blue instead of black, and so somebody has to pay the price. And since you're the one who stepped to me and not one of them because you chose to be in the blue, unfortunately it has to be you. The number 5 piece of symbolism from Queen and Slim is the combination of the protest and the sex scene happening at the same time. And I can tell you right now, I cried during the protest scene, and it was very emotional for me to be going back and forth between very sad and distraught and upset about the trauma that's happening at the protest, and yet very excited because Slim was getting in them guts, okay? He was doing what needed to be done at that time for Queen, and I was here for it. But I was back and forth. But I feel like the symbolism and the reason why it needed to be done like that, and I'm so happy that they did it like that, is because it's literally a representation of how being black in America means that you can fall in love at the same time as your entire world is crumbling around you. At this pivotal point in time, they are literally finally connecting on this deeper, passionate, meaningful level, and at the same time, the outside world is still coming in to attack them. Things are just falling apart, and consequently, being black in America, you're always waiting for that. Even whenever you're in love, even whenever you're in a happy place, you are always just waiting for that shoe to drop, you know? So that was an emotional tide for me, but I was with it. Okay, I can't remember if this is I think this is number 6. Yeah, so the number 6 piece of symbolism in the movie is another character. And this is a big one. The number 6 character is the sellout. The brother that sold Queen and Slim out for the $250,000, $500,000 for their capture. This brother represents the slaves that Harriet would have killed. Okay, so up until this point in Queen and Slim, they have encountered a lot of people who recognize them and who know who they are, but never turn them in. When they go on their official second date and they're at the juke joint, everybody in there recognizes them. They're safe. They don't have to go anywhere. There's no worry about the police rushing up in there and busting them. Nobody's turning them in. Even whenever they were leaving the shepherd's house and the black police officer raises the garage and sees them in there, he thinks about it for a second, but he lets them go. Probably has something to do with the microaggressions and the racism that he's dealing with being on the fucking police force. You know, he literally was just dealing with it 2 seconds before he found them. Did not turn them in. The mechanic, whose son that we just talked about, he never turned them in. He knew who they were, let them know that he knew who they were, but he didn't agree with what they were doing, but he never turned them in. This movie literally introduces you to every kind of mindset that you can have as a black person in America, whether you're male or female. It introduces you to all these characters, and unfortunately, the sellout is one of those characters. This brother thinks that everyone is trying to kill him. This brother knows the guy that has the plane. He wants the plane, but he ain't got the plane. So literally he's obsessed with capitalism. He's obsessed with the come up. He's got the flashy jewelry, the gold teeth, and he wants to get his, and it doesn't matter who he has to step over in that moment. It doesn't matter what's good or bad for the black community, because he wants what's his, and he's not gonna let anybody get in the way of that. And it is that mentality, it is that thinking that constantly derails the black community from unity, which is what stops us from getting our real true freedom and peace. So just something to think about. I know that those people are out there. Those people are out there. Those people could possibly be you, and you don't even notice it. But if you relate to what that brother did, because $250,000 and they killed somebody, they gotta go. You have to think about it. What's good for the community? What's good for the people versus what's good for me? If you're not willing to make sacrifices for yourself in order to see the community uplifted and better, then those are the people that Harriet would have killed. So the last and final piece of symbolism that I recognized in this movie is the horrible relationship that Queen and Slim, the horrible encounters that Queen and Slim have with white women. and it only gets worse as the movie progresses. So from Mrs. Shepherd, which we are warned about from Uncle Earl, that she ain't shit. Mrs. Shepherd does not want them there, and from the very beginning, she is not comfortable with their presence being there. She lets her husband know it. She lets them know it. She makes comments about the reward money and how it could benefit them, but she never turns them in. She never says anything to the police when they ask her. She just goes along with her husband, who is definitely an ally. Their neighbor is a white woman. She's the one that across the street who sees their car. She calls the police and she turns them in their location, and so the police come there. Luckily they have hiding spots all over the house. I don't know why, I don't know what they'd be doing, yeah, so that is, you know, the second white woman that has faulted them. And then lastly, the third and final strike for the white women is the white female officer who shoots and kills Queen. What this shows me is that white men are loud and boisterous with their prejudice, with their racism, and with their hate. So white women, especially the feminist movement, are slow and silent and unprovoked with their hate against black men and black women. What really took me out with the scene where the white female officer shoots and kills Queen is the exchange that they're having when she is shot. It was, like I said, unprovoked. They weren't making any sudden movements. There was no weapon in sight. The only weapon that was in sight was their unity and love. They are literally having an exchange, a conversation of love when Queen is shot and killed. And I think that that is the most threatening thing to white people in general. White people that are afraid of black, they're afraid of black unity and black love. Black love is the strongest thing that you can have to unite our community. Now I want to give you guys my 3 favorite quotes from the movie. Quotes to live by. Number 3 is whenever Queen and Slim are sitting in the back of the truck and they're eating, and Slim asks Queen if she is a good lawyer, and she says that she's excellent. And he asks her, why do black people always have to be great? Why can't we just be us? And I love that. I absolutely love that thought, because a lot of people just want to live and exist, but living and existing is not enough. You have to be phenomenal. You have to be great. You have to go above and beyond, or you're nothing. Your pure existence is not enough for you to just be here and be happy. You have to be doing more than that. And I think that that is unfair, because there are so many people, white people especially, that live their lives and they're not exceptional at anything, and they still get to be happy and free. My number 2 favorite quote, of course, is the legacy conversation. This is actually the conversation that they're having when Queen is shot and killed so abruptly, when she looks at him and she says, oh, it just brings tears to my eyes, and she says, can I be your legacy? And he says, you already are. And instantly she's shot and killed. That is basically, they're saying, I love you too. And because of that loving exchange, the fearful white woman kicks in, and she's like, oh shit, this has got to end. And my number 1 favorite quote from the movie Queen and Slim is when Goddess she's helping to dress Queen's wounds, and they're talking about her Uncle Earl, and she tells him he needs us to worship him. Out there, he ain't shit, but in here, he a king. That is the only thing that you need to know about loving a black man. Yes, they be fucking up. Yes, sometimes they're horrible people. Yes, they have demons. They have, give them grace. I don't care. Period. Give them grace. Give black men grace. You have to, because out there, they ain't shit to nobody. when they come home, let them be a king. Teach them how to be your king, period. So that's all I got for Queen and Slim. Like I said, I'm gonna go see the movie again, second time, third time, fourth time, buy the movie. Check out the soundtrack because it is popping. I loved everything about the way that this movie was written. Thank you, Lena. Directed, thank you, Melina. I hope that they collaborate and do more projects together. This was an excellent representation of Black love, being Black in America. Shout out to Uncle Earl, the guy that played him, Bokeem Woodbine, because remember I was telling you guys about his bottom bitch goddess. She's actually a transgender non-binary actress, and he allowed himself to let her be affectionate with him, and it did not, like, I don't know how many Black actors in this day and age would be so comfortable in that, with their masculinity, to allow and to let that happen. So LGBT community, very well represented in this movie. Black men, Black women, very well represented. The creativity, the lighting, the music, the ambiance. Go see it, go buy it. All right, I'm out. Peace. I lied. Make sure that you listen to the Queen X podcast. I have Motivational Monday episodes that come out every single Monday, and Black Friday episodes that come out every single Friday. You can catch us on Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, all that jazz. And what else? Follow us on Instagram at QueenXPod on Instagram. Hit us up on Patreon at QueenXPod on Twitter. Join the Facebook Royal family. We are the Queen X Royal Tribe. And yeah, comment down below and let me know what your favorite part of the Queen and Slim movie was, if you've seen it. What did you like, what you didn't like? Yeah, now I'm really gone. Peace.